Hey, this is Dee Dee from Overkill and the Bronx Casket Company, and you're listening to FearShop.com.
The FearShop.com Metal Podcast. Hey, FearShop.com Metal Podcast listeners. How the hell are you? Got a special treat for you guys, talking to one of the pioneers of thrash metal today, one of the leaders of Overkill, and also the leader of the Bronx Casket Company, Verni. So it was my pleasure to get some time to talk to him. He's a huge inspiration to me, both, in my own music and just in metal in general. I've, like you'll hear in the interview, I've been a fan of Overkill since the Power and Black demo days, and a lot of you people may say, well, what the hell's that? That was the demo that they actually put out before Feel the Fire, and it was big in the tape trading days. Obviously you had No Life Till Leather from Metallica, and, all those other underground tapes that we were trading, and Power and Black was one of those. Definitely an underrated band, in my opinion, Overkill is, and the Bronx Casket Company. But anyways, let's pay the bills here, and then we'll get right into the interview with Dee Dee.
Hey, this is Root Rot. When I'm looking for an awesome, kick-ass horror movie t-shirt, I don't go to Hot Topic. Fuck that place. I go to FearShop.com, and you get the bonus of a horror podcast and a metal podcast. So check it out. FearShop.com. Tell them Root Rot sent you.
This is Dee Dee. What's happening?
Hey, what's up, man? This is Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Good to talk to you, man. Huge fan since, long time.
Oh, yeah, of Overkill stuff?
Of Overkill stuff, and since the beginning of Bronx Casket.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, I've actually been a fan since the Power and Black days.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah, it was the big thing with us in high school. So,
right, okay.
The old trading days that we all miss so much. So
yeah, it was... it's hard to explain to people unless you were there,
I know, everything's so readily available, it kind of takes the fun out of it.
When you tell them that, I didn't see Iron Maiden until they showed up in front of me. You couldn't order a Maiden shirt. We had to hand make them ourselves until they actually wind up coming here. And they just look at you like, what? How could that happen?
Yeah, it's funny.
The way it was back in the day.
So first off, congrats on the new Bronx Casket Company CD. It's really kicking some ass there. I'm really getting into it. So.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. So you took over the vocals while you were on tour the last time around. What made you take over and just run with it?
Well, when we went out and we did a couple of shows, just certain things became clearer. One of the reasons I do Bronx Casket is that it's fun. It's a lot of fun for me to kind of step outside the Overkill mold for a little bit and try writing some different kinds of songs, working with different instruments, working with different people. And, you're sitting in the studio and spending time with these people. I've had a great time, a lot of fun people to work with and a lot of fun doing it. But when you get up on stage and you have to deliver it now, it's a completely different thing. It completely changes. To me, it did anyway. So after we did the third record, we said, let's do a few shows. It'll be fun. So we got out there, and I realized that sitting in the studio and writing songs is one thing, and delivering them live is something different. So it felt so many years of being on stage with Overkill where, there's just one thing on your mind. You're just running that, and you just want to run over people like a train. That's what Overkill does. You want to come out and just run. It's like running loose in a field with a bat and just smashing everything in your path. And Bronx is completely different, and it felt weird to me up there, and I said, okay, if we're going to do some more shows on this, I'm going to have to kind of rethink this a little bit. And that's what made me think that, and I had been singing some of the songs already, and the ones that I was singing generally were ones that were a little heavier, a little bit tougher. They felt a little bit more right to me. So when I saw that it was kind of like that and it was going to get steered that way, it just kind of made more sense for me to be doing it. And then I started writing a few songs and could see the direction it was going in, that it was going to be heavier and that my vocal was going to fit good with it. And so just decided, hey, we'll go all the way with this. I'll just take it in a different direction. I'll start singing, and we'll see how that goes for a while.
Yeah, cool. So you may bring in somebody for the next album then, right? I mean, you never know.
I just never know. That's one of the things I kind of like about Bronx Casket is that every record to me is like this one compared to the last one. You know, I've had a lot of people tell me it sounds like a completely different band. It's just a left-hand turn.
Yeah.
And and even the first two compared with the third one I did, the third one got real gothy and a lot more orchestra. You went even more that route. So it was a little bit more of a turn in another direction. And that's what I like to do with them from time to time. I had different people play on this one. I did quite a bit of stuff on this one, too. You know, will there be a next one? Probably. You know, at some point I'll get filled up with ideas and things again. And what will it bring? Will I sing on it? I imagine I probably will, just to get a few that direction. But, you know, who the heck knows? I just don't know from record to record.
I mean, I do see where you guys say, you know, you kind of, I agree, obviously, since you said it, but more about the whole thing with the left turn as opposed to a whole new direction, because to me it still sounds like it, but you definitely see, I would call it like more progression on this album. It's just you're progressing more. And, I mean, there's definitely a new sound, so I'm assuming that was kind of intentional.
That there was what?
That there's like a different kind of sound to the band.
Well, yeah, I think the songs kind of dictated that a little bit, too, that, you know, the tempos were up. It was a little, you know, the riffing was a little heavier. Just everything's a little heavier.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of concentrated on the guitars and drums being bigger and, you know, more in your face than the last ones, you know, the previous ones we did. And then we had this guy, Jacob Hansen, mixed the record, who, you know, is...
Oh, he did the zombie stuff, right?
No, that was the guy who did, we had the guy who did the zombie, the programming and stuff. He did, this guy, Bill Sarver, did some great programming on there. But the guy who mixed with this guy, Jacob Hansen, he's a European guy, so he does, specifically the reason I hired him is he does this band called Volbeat, which is, they're a band from Denmark that's really big over there. They're just starting to get kind of a buzz over here, but it's just one of my favorite bands ever, of all time.
Yeah, great.
And so when I got a chance to be able to work with him, I knew it would kind of what the sound was going to be like, and so I was really psyched with the way it turned out because I think he's great.
Yeah, the album does sound, it's killer. I'm so jealous of the guitar tones, too, on this album.
Oh, really?
Oh, man. Obviously the bass, obviously it sounds good because it always does.
Right.
But the guitar tone is just killer. Absolutely killer.
Well, I had to even tell Jacob because, you know, he figures he's dealing with Dee Dee from Overkill and that, you know, I'm going to want that signature kind of tone that I have with Overkill. And I had to keep telling him, no. That is not what I want. That's a signature Overkill sound. And this, you know, the band is tuned different. It's just a completely different thing. You know, my whole vibe on this was guitars. I wanted the guitars to be huge, and I wanted bass. You know, more even like a Pantera record where the bass is there, but it's more like support for guitars more than anything else, which is not at all what I do with Overkill. So it took them a little while to kind of get into the groove of that. But and we went back and forth on the guitars a bunch of times. But I like the guitars came out a lot too.
Yeah, you nailed it. What are you guys tuned at for this one?
We're tuned down to C, drop C.
Okay, yeah. I knew it was low.
Yeah, I think the first two we were down to drop C, and the last one we were even lower, it was down to B. But that was even a little too low for me, so we went back up to C. We did a few of the songs were even in drop D. Yeah. So, you know, somewhere in there. My voice is lower, so I'm better dropping a little bit than, you know, playing at regular pitch.
Mm. When did you guys actually get together to do the album? Because it seems like the news came out that you guys were recording an album, and then the next day the news came out that it's coming out. So when did it all happen?
It's probably been done for, I would say, not a year, but close to it.
Oh, okay.
It's been done for a long time, and we were this kind of last Overkill record really kind of took off, and we have been doing a ton of shows, just a lot of stuff. We're on the road a lot, doing a lot of things, and I didn't want to try and put this record out like in the middle of Overkill's touring cycle because I said I'm not going to be able to do anything. I mean, we're just on the road constantly. So we're kind of buttoning up with Overkill a little bit now. We have They're going to be in March, in Europe, all of March, doing a tour, and then we will, and then we have a couple shows in April here in the States, and then then we'll be bouncing back and forth with festivals all summer like we normally do. But that'll pretty much kind of be the end of the Ironbound run, and we'll have to start thinking about writing a new record. So it's a good time to put the Bronx one out.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to tour for this one? For Bronx, I should say.
I get asked a whole lot, and I'm not sure. It really is going to kind of depend on what kind of comes to the table.
Yeah. Was there ever any talk about maybe opening